Globe Life fart. Globe Life fart. All right.
Dobro večer. Good evening to all people. How are you doing? I hope you are okay. I have a really special guest for you tonight with me. He's my old buddy, and in the fight for truth, even many years more than me. I was just passive, but he was active all the time. Let me give you Ranty, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Ranty. Hello, Ranty. How are you doing? I hope we hear you.
There we go. That was my mistake. I clicked the wrong button. I'm doing fine, thank you, Yosi. How are you?
Very well, thank you. You see, we still meet here, even if you transfer the channel, and now Brandon is having fun there and keeping your tradition alive with debates with Globers and other open-minded people.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, you see. I mean, I'd been in the community for around about 5 years, and I had a little break, and a lot went on in the past year, and it was just a case of, you know what, doing these shows every night, because it was pretty much every night. It got to me, really, being on the show till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. It's quite a long time when you've got to get up in the morning for work. But yeah, there was a lot that went on last year, and it was just a case of, you know what, it's time for somebody else with fresh enthusiasm to come in and take over the show. And that's what he did. So I gave it to Brandon. I couldn't have thought of a better person to give it to, because he with that. The name of it now, which I encouraged him to do. He was loath to do it for the longest time, but eventually he changed it from Ranty Flat Earth, or Ranty as it changed to Brandon's now. So yeah, he's doing a good job over there, and still getting the Globers coming in, which is good. It's more than a lot of the other channels can do. So that's what we want to do, is give the Globers a home so they can come in and tell us their side of the story, and let's have the debate. Let's see whether their evidence stands up to any kind of scrutiny.
Really great, and thank you for all your work. I have also this is also one of my questions to you, if you would like to give us later on. I prepared a little, how can I say, not collage, but okay, let's say it's collage, a collection of pictures from your videos and presentations, and different events, let's say, I was present, and we will go on with that. Just I need to first open the folder, of course.
Okay. I have to say, I like your setup here on the YouTube channel. I can see the flat Earth map turning into a globe and back again. Just the whole setup's really cool actually. I like it.
Thank you. It is my scene from OBS. But you see, it was the glitch. We didn't play the video. At least I didn't saw the video from the song. It was this. I hope the sound was good, but I didn't see the picture. So it is good, but maybe it's a bit hard for my old PC,
You have quite a few people in the chat already. You've got 20 in the chat, which is pretty cool. Should we do a few shout outs? We've got Gillian, who says I was muted. I was, yeah. And Cap Holnack, nice to see you in. There's some names there that I can't say really. I don't know how to say them. Tanya Titar, nice to see you in. What else have we got in? I'm trying to find some names that I can actually say.
It's okay. It's okay.
Avaricum, nice to see you in.
Yes.
Yeah. Vivid Light Treble 8, nice to see you in. And that's about all I can say really. So if there's anybody that I missed out, I do apologise.
It's no problem, mate. I know you like your audience, and you always take care of your audience. So...
Yes, that's what it's all about. I mean, we could have the best conversation in the world going, but if nobody's there to listen to it, then all that time and effort falls on deaf ears because there's nobody there listening to it. So it makes sense to make sure that the audience is all welcomed and happy. So that's what I try to do.
Cool, really cool. I like your channel before even more than now, of course. Yeah. And I was guest also in many of your shows. I didn't spoke a lot because near the Peachy and Rompus and Brenda I didn't fight for the words really.
Well, I believe the record number of people I ever had watching one particular show was 360 at one time. So that's quite good, I think, in this community. I think a lot of channels would struggle to get anything near that. And I know that a lot of people have found other things to start looking into recently, because obviously you've had the US elections and you've got this the coup flu virus going around, and people rightly looking into those things and have temporarily, I think, just moved away from flat earth, but they'll return. Those days will be back again. It's just a hiccup along the road. Flat earth will always be there, I think.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. And I agree with you. Having 300 people is a lot. 100 people, it's very, very good. And 20, like for me, I'm nobody, I'm pretty happy, I must confess. In these are people we meet every Saturday, for many years now, so they are pretty stable and loyal audience. I must take also care of them. I love them. Some of them are really my friends. Some of them have fun to be around, and different personalities, different countries, different languages. You understand? We are speaking like 3-4 languages, and we go just fine together. So it's I think it is unique. Like a show going so long, and keep in mind, we more than 3 years, every Saturday. Every Saturday.
That's really good. Your show is very under the radar, so to speak. Not many people are aware of it.
It is not that they are not aware, but if they come, they don't understand the language,
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I can't speak any other language than English, so I think my limit with French is croissant. That's about it. German would be Scheisenhauser. That's about it.
And here we are. Okay, first I will ask you a few questions if you agree. I know you have made a lot of things, good things for this community. Many people doesn't even know or are aware on how much you contribute. The worst thing, if you ask me, was the how your P900 finished.
Oh.
But
Yeah, I gave that to another channel. Gave it to a guy called Arwin, the P900. Gave it away for free, and yeah, he hasn't used it, so kind of I got burnt by that, I think.
And how is your P1000 doing?
It's doing good. I've loaned it out. It's been loaned out. It came back. It needed a bit of work doing to it, so I've had to send it off to get a little bit of work done on it. But when I get it back, who knows what I'm going to be doing with that? I don't know yet.
Ah, cool. Really nice. So it's in use, right?
It will be, yeah. When it comes back, I'll be using it. I mean, I intend to be heading down to Australia this year to do some tests down there with the sunsets and sunrises. So that's what I've got planned for this year, if we're allowed to travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because pandemic is really making it all worse, right?
Mm-hmm.
But even your theory, like that is poison. Many people experience it like poison,
Mm.
Yep.
It's something new. I mean, whatever's going on, it's definitely something new. Whether or not it's as deadly as they portray it to be, I doubt that. I have my doubts, obviously. But the one thing that I was adamant about when I was talking about this on the show before it even became a thing, so to speak, because I was keeping up to date with it as it was still in China, was that whatever they were doing there, the lockdowns they were imposing there, the way that the supply chains and everything, people losing their jobs. I was telling people that this is what's going to happen here, that we're going to get lockdowns, people are going to lose their jobs, you need to prepare for this. Regardless of whether or not people are going to be dying every second of every day, the social impacts were there. The warning signs were there, and I put those warning signs out. And absolutely, whatever's going on behind the scenes, whether or not whether we're privy to the full extent of what this virus is, or whether or not it is some kind of way of socially engineering society into a different position, change everything, bring in new rules, new governments, new economic things, there is something to do with that, which is quite possible, but regardless, a lot of people have lost their jobs, and I don't think we've hit the worst of it yet. I think these lockdowns are going to continue, and I think there's going to be a lot more poverty before we see any signs of any kind of recovery.
Exactly, I agree, because the people accepted this paradigm and this invisible enemy as if it is real, So they are obviously happy, but on the other hand, I already see the people waking up in masses. I mean, parents and children who need to go to school are protesting all around Europe. Maybe you don't know, but I know. And maybe this could be, no, for sure this new world order will collapse, even if they are planning it in hundreds of years, and they are making three steps forward, 2 steps back, and so on. In the end, they will collapse, because I see this now happening. Even normal people, they see this is not something, okay, it is let's say a kind of illness or spreading around, but it's not what they are telling us. It is not that heavy. It is not need to be everything closed and so on. I think they are really exaggerating. and this will fire back, you know.
So what have you got on screen here? I remember taking these images. What have you got? What have you got to show me on screen now? I can see a boat.
Your boat, yeah.
Yeah, I remember this boat. I remember where I took it from as well. I remember filming this.
Well, this this is first picture I wanted to show you, and of course it's your pictures, and for some reason in Discord I see now it's better, I think. Yeah, now you can see it more big, right?
Yeah, I could see it big anyway, but you need to have it big for the audience to see. So
yeah, this is also for the audience, so they can see better. Yeah.
So what's your question about this then? Or do you want to know what's going on with this?
Basically, I know because I saw your presentation and you have the boat entering this layer, but I would like to explain. I don't have the whole sequence or video. I just prepared few pictures because I'm really not that capable of changing I don't know, from video to pictures. You know, I'm not doing live streams and presentations every day. In fact, this is my first live stream this year.
Oh, is it? Right, okay.
Yeah. So this is my favorite thing. I prepare few pictures and then I talk about them, but you know, the bad thing is, even if I prepared some points, I always lose something, you know, always lose something.
Okay, well, do you want me to share those images myself?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so I'll open these with photos. Right, okay. And let me stop watching your screen. Close that down, and then I'll share mine. Okay, so you should see mine, and I'll walk you through it. I'll tell you the whole set of images of what actually went on this particular day.
Okie dokie. I would really like to. Thank you.
Okay, so obviously I've included in these set of images my GPS location where I actually took the images from. Now, I was at a place at this time called St. Bees, that's up in the UK on the west coast, and I was just out filming from the top of a hill, and my altitude above actual sea level at the time, as you can see here, this is in meters, so it was 11.2 meters. So from 11.2 meters in elevation above the water, I saw in the distance this boat, and I took this photograph of the boat as what it looked like here. Now, I'll try and zoom in and hopefully we'll be able to zoom back out again. So this is the image of the boat right here. Now you can see everything on the boat. You can see the front and the back of the boat. So this is I think this is the back of it, would it be? And that would be the front. Yeah, this is the front. There's the back. And obviously you can see all the hull. You can see where it's breaking water, etc., etc. Now this was taken, I believe, with a P900. This one. Let's go to the next image. So again, what I do is I've taken a series of different images from different elevations, and this is from 12.3 meters, so it's actually slightly higher, only by half a meter or so. But again, you can still see all of the boat. And what I decided to do is I decided to walk down the hill. So obviously I'm lowering my elevation, but I decided to also walk in a straight line towards the boat. Now, I would say that it probably took no more than 3 or 4 minutes of walking. Now, as you can see, the boat is angled where it's not coming towards me and it's not going away from me. It's basically staying in the same position, but going across screen. So it wasn't really traveling that far or that fast. And that's important. So we know that the boat isn't really getting much nearer or much further away. But I lower my elevation and let's see what happens. So on the next image, this is quite a good one, from 7.3 meters. So I've dropped a total of about 4.5 meters, 5 meters at this time. What you actually see is the in between this red line that runs across the boat here.
Yeah.
Can you see that? Can you see this? This is the part where it's fading out. This is where the inferior mirage is, and everything beneath that is faded out, and everything else is a reflection underneath it. This part of the boat that was visible before and underneath it didn't have anything, now has a reflection. Same with this part here, that's a mirror reflection of that. And if we come over to the left-hand side, again, you've got this mirror reflection underneath this part here. Everything's a reflection of it. And this is from just 4 or 5 meters lower. Now, I may have some comparisons with these at some point. But what happens is, as I go lower and lower and lower, this is 7.1 meters. You can still see that red part here and the inferior mirage. But what you can't see is the actual boat. Now, you can't actually see the bottom of the boat. The bottom of the boat is invisible to all intents and purposes, because what you're actually seeing here is just an inferior mirage. So the question obviously the question then becomes, well, why can't we see the bottom of the boat? Is it because the inferior mirage is blocking it, or is it because of Earth curve? You know, what's the thing here that's blocking our visual line of sight to the bottom of the boat? What is it? Well, the answer is quite clear. The answer is it's an inferior mirage that's creating a mirror image somehow and is blocking the bottom of the boat. And if we go a bit further, now this is quite a low one, 0.9 meters, so I'm just about 3 feet above the water at this time. And as you can see, I'd say probably 70% of the boat is gone. All the hull is gone, everything basically has gone of it. You wouldn't be able to tell that was even a boat. If I showed you just this image and said, what's this image? You wouldn't know. But one thing you can see, again, is the inferior mirage that runs right where my cursor's going through here, right there. Right, that's where the inferior mirage is. And everything else beneath it is hidden behind that. So I'm going to keep going and see where we end up on this. 0.3 meters. Okay, so that's 1 foot above the water.
Really close, yeah.
Really low down. And now basically everything's gone. I mean, everything's just hiding behind the inferior mirage. Well, it's not the water, is it? It's not the water that's hiding it. It's the inferior mirage. Now, way back when we started doing this kind of research, looking into this, the glober's position was this fold line that you would see, the fold line that runs through the center of the image, is where Earth curve is. So let's go back to the original image way back here. Let's go to, hang on, let's go to one forward actually, where we can see one. There we go. So this fold line that runs through the center here, they would say anything beneath that there is Earth curvature. So that line there is Earth curve. And I didn't believe that for 1 minute. I didn't think that was the case. I was like, this just, to me, it doesn't make any sense, because we're obviously seeing inferior mirage. We're not actually seeing water here. So it became a quest then to try and understand this phenomena. What is the cause of the inferior mirage, and what does it do? Is it actually water that's creating a physical hump that's causing a reflection off the water, or is it something else? Is it an atmospheric blockage that mimics this watery hump, let's say, that's causing the reflection? And it became a quest to find that out. And I think with channels like Sky Free channel, I highly recommend anybody going over there and looking at their work. They were able to demonstrate on a 400-foot pond these same effects with the boat, and they had a little toy boat that they would run across the water, this toy boat being hidden by an inferior mirage. Now, clearly that wasn't Earth curve or waves or anything that was hiding it. It was definitely just atmospheric. And then we go on to more recent tests with Pebble in the Pond, who's a guest on Brandon's show now, and he's demonstrating this same effect caused by temperature that's the cause of this inferior mirage that's able to mimic the reflection, but it's clear that it's because it was across a surface that's just a plain surface, flat surface, that's what caused the blockage. So, and of course I've got other examples of this that can absolutely 100% prove that it wasn't Earth curve that was the cause here. But I think this was the first set of images where I actually went into some great detail into trying to understand what was going on and document the evidence, document it. And I believe that I spoke about this originally on Nathan Oakley's show, because I used to be a panelist over there. And this was, you know, this was the start of that kind of journey, so to speak.
Yeah, it's a gradual growing, and more you know, more you want to know, and it's pit without the end. You know, you just can't get enough. I need to know more. Let's try this, let's try that. Even more detailed information. I remember when you dig up the shoaling, nobody was ever mentioning or position of the shoreline. I mean the how quick go down from the 0 to let's say 1 kilometer. Some beaches go like in like coast, not beaches, sorry. Some coasts go like in 300 meters to almost 1 kilometer. Some coasts need like 20 kilometers or more to go at the same depth. So it's really important also that, yeah. And you were the first to bring this up, and forget all about the, you know, tides. And I also discovered one interesting thing, that really the other part, they were waiting for the tide to come up, and then take pictures, so the tide basically obscure the horizon or everything. So this is really not an honest way, because the next day normal person go the same location at almost the same time and expose them. So it's was really fun for some time, yeah. And you was one of the first to mention this. Really, congratulations for that, and thank you.
Thank you. Well, when I first started talking about this, let's not beat about the bush here. So when I first started talking about this, nobody was entertaining that idea that when I presented this image here, let's say I show somebody this image and I say this is proof of flatness, right? It wasn't very well received in the community, I have to say. I mean, flat earthers didn't enjoy seeing this, and the Globers loved it, because they're like, well, where's the bottom of the boat? Where is it? Where's it gone? You know, where is it hidden from? So although I could understand it and talk about it originally, it took a very, very long time before anybody actually started giving any kind of credence to this kind of research, because nobody wanted to look at this, you know. And quite honestly, you know, you're telling a globe earther that this is proof of flatness, that the boat is there, but it's hidden behind the atmosphere. And they're like, well, the atmosphere is clear. How can you not see through the atmosphere? You're talking rubbish. So it was a long journey, I have to say. It was at least 6 months before I started to get any kind of credit. And then I appeared on Globebusters, and I appeared on Jeranism's show, and I did the presentations on there. And I was able to put this evidence out there and start talking about it. Let's not talk about it, because this is reality. This is what you go down to the beach and see. 90% of the times, this is what you will see. You'll see a boat hidden by an inferior mirage. And to just go ahead and let's just go to the original image over here and say, hey, here's a boat, this is proof of flatness. Yeah, it's great, because, you know, you can produce images that show this on days when you don't get the inferior mirage. But then what happens when you get an image like this? If you don't understand it and you're not willing to talk about it, then you've already lost the argument. So yes, I have plenty of shore-to-shore observations of 18, 20, 24 miles from just a few inches off the floor, you know, where you can see from shore to shore. But then, consequently, I also have thousands of images that look like this with an inferior mirage on. So it was a case of, well, don't be dishonest. Address the situation. There is a situation here. You know, there is a problem. There's a problem that we can't see the bottom of the boat, and that is a problem, especially if you're a flat earther. So, you know, you've got to answer that. You've got to answer why is it hidden from the bottom. And this was just one line of research about the inferior mirage that I think now has been adopted, you know, I would say on all sides, and it is. I think it's accepted on all sides now. People like Ruhif, people like the Rumpus, you know, Gem Panda, these guys come in and they, you know, they will now admit, okay, that the inferior mirage is not caused by Earth curve. But if you go back 3 years and you ask them the same question, then 3 years ago, then it was Earth curve. So
Always.
to change people's opinion on that and prove. So it wasn't just it wasn't just these images that proved it or anything like that. This was just a very small section of work that was just done at the very start. It took thousands of hours of research and hundreds of hours of going out, actually taking photographs, measurements, to actually come back and say, I can now prove what I am saying. And thankfully, that work was adopted, and now, you know, an image like this, you know, it cannot be argued now that the Globers can't argue that this is a proof of globe anymore. But we can certainly argue that the bottom of the boat should be still visible on a different day, but just because on this day with a certain atmospherics that's there, you know, that this is hidden behind an inferior mirage, not Earth curve.
Yep, I agree totally. And I also remember those days when the other part always claimed the curvature. This is the curvature, and everything was curvature. No, you see, it's a curvature, no matter what, no matter what conditions, no matter what time, no matter where the photograph was taken. When you didn't see the bottom part, it was the curvature. So yeah. And you know, the interesting part, first I want to tell you, I have a few examples of yours.
Okay.
I will show you, and I would like to present to my audience a bit more of them, because they are really interesting, and you presented them few times. It's not like I will show you something you never saw.
No worries. It's interesting because I don't know if your audience has ever heard one of my presentations before, or seen this kind of work, or even understands that, you know, that there are explanations out there for these kind of images. So it's nice to actually get to a broader audience and show your audience, you know, some of the research in case they haven't seen this before.
I believe 99% of this audience know already what are you talking about, but they don't know really the details, all of them. Some also know the details, some also have done their own research. So we have mixed public, let's say. And I want to present how many. This is something I wanted to ask you. How much time do you have?
It depends how long you want to talk for. How long do you want to talk for?
Well, no problem. This is you are not limited by time. I mean, we will not be here till 8 in the morning, but
let's say another hour and a half. Is that okay?
Yeah, maybe 2. Okay, I will now present my image to you, what I wanted to ask you about. Or maybe I have better. Wait, because really I need this is yes, this is a lot of time presented, and now I need to go to Discord, and I'm doing first time live on Discord, you know?
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer Discord in a way because you can actually alter people's volume. So if I was too loud or anything, let's suppose I was much higher than you, then you can actually adjust my volume just by right-clicking my name in the live chat, so you can adjust the volume.
Yeah.
So your audience gets a balance, and you can adjust it for all your guests as well.
Yeah, I know that. So this is the picture, and I know you know it very well.
I do.
And this is really important because, you know, because of that yellow and black thing,
Yes.
whatever that is.
That's right. So on this particular image, what you have is you have a image of Barrow Furnace. In the background, we have Devonshire Dock Hall and some other buildings that are in the background there. Then directly underneath that, you have a sliver of blue. Right, there's a sliver of blue that's just above the yellow area of the post. If you can sort of like hover your cursor over that, perhaps, just to show the audience, there's a sliver of blue along the top image. Yes, that's it. So that sliver of blue is actually part of the bigger sea area that's at the bottom. So what happens is that's a channel. The channel goes all around this sandbank, you know, and it doubles back on itself. So that's actually water. So that sliver of blue that's there is actually water. So you have to keep moving your cursor to trigger the stream to actually keep on showing on YouTube. There you go. So as long as you keep moving your cursor, people can see it. So that blue there is water. Now the question becomes, underneath that, obviously you've got the sandbank. You've got a sandbank directly underneath that, and then you've got obviously the ocean that's nearer. Now these were taken from exactly the same elevations on exactly the same weather conditions with exactly the same tide heights, and there's a little bit of parallax because I was around about 60 feet nearer on these railings where I was actually taking them from. So that's the only reason there's a tiny bit of parallax just on this image. But essentially they're the same distance, same height, everything's the same weather conditions, except for on one day we had a very, very clear image from shore to shore. And the other one, we had the inferior mirage, the bottom part of it. If you look at the bottom, it's just, you can't see that estuary anymore. You can't see the sandbank. All you're seeing is a reflection of Devonshire Dock Hall, the building, but any detail is lost in that inferior mirage. The detail is gone. Now, coincidentally, where the inferior mirage is on the bottom image, that center line, that is where, from my elevation and the distances involved, that's slightly higher up, where the fold line is. Yeah, that's it. So where that fold line is there, that is where Earth curve should be if you lived on a globe. Funnily enough, that's the exact height, and everything beneath that should be hidden to Earth curve. But yet, on days when you can just see the image without any inferior mirage, you're seeing right into the shoreline of Barrow Furnace. There's actually buildings along that seafront up there. So on the days when you can see very clearly, you see far further than you should on a globe. And on days with a inferior mirage, you coincidentally get the same sort of blockage, the same amount of hidden that you would do if you lived on a sphere. Now, make of that what you will. I'll say that they just said that they hijacked the inferior mirage for Earth curve without understanding what the inferior mirage was. So back when they were coming up with this globe idea, they could see it in the distance, they could see hidden, and they just calculated the hidden based on a radius and a formula, and that's what they came up with. But they didn't understand, in my opinion, they just didn't understand
and also
optics.
Also, excuse me if I interrupt you. So here is the Earth curvature, but yet we see the other water. So it can be curvature because here is another water, right?
Yes, that's water behind it. Yeah, there's that's a sandbank there in the foreground underneath it.
Yeah, this.
And yes,
there's
sand.
water.
Yeah, there's water behind it, and then just above the water, actually, there's some shoreline houses. You can't see them very well on this
here.
image, but there are shoreline houses. No, way lower than that.
Lower.
I might have to try and dig out the original image for you. Let's have a look. But in any event, you know that this entire image, you know, is the top image is not real. If you're a globe earther, that cannot be real. If you're a globe earther, the top image cannot be real, but the bottom image is absolutely perfect for a globe earth. So you've got to ask yourself, is that really the case, or is it that they just don't understand the optics that are at play with the inferior mirage?
Isn't that true that we only need one black swan?
Well, I think that's what they say, isn't it? You know.
Right. It only takes one black swan to deny all the white swans. Yeah.
I can. If I can open it, I might just adjust the contrast on this before I actually present it, so that you can see it a little bit better on.
Okie dokie.
Image. Adjustments, brightness and contrast. Just darken it up a little bit, contrast it a bit. Huh. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Right. Okay, let me share my let me share my screen with you. So yeah, it's okay. So that's okay. So this is the same image, but it's a more detailed image, obviously, because it's taken direct from, rather than a screenshot, it's actually my own images. So way up here, this area here is houses. You know, there's houses all along this seafront here.
Yeah.
Houses there. I don't know if you can sort of make them out at the bottom here. These little houses.
Yeah. I can see them. Yeah.
This area here is water. That's water here. You know, that's more water there. This is all water. This is part of the estuary. These are the houses that are all in this location by the seafront, let's say, because it is like seafront housing. You've got seafront housing along here as well. You can see all the houses actually there. There you go. See all these little houses down here. Now, you shouldn't be able to see these houses. You know, the Earth curve calculator would say that right about here, anything below that should be hidden to Earth curve. So let me increase that to like that. So there you go. So all of this there, that's Earth curve, right? So you should be able to see the top of, you know, you should be able to see this building, but anything beneath that, you shouldn't be able to see it on a globe. And then when you come down here and you see this image, so you've got a very fuzzy image, unclear. It's just the inferior mirage that's going on. This inferior mirage that just runs through the entire image there, that's the inferior mirage. That's the cutoff point there, basically. And anything beneath that is a reflection of of something above it. And, you know, because you can't see those houses, you know, you can't see those houses that you could see up here before. You can't see them. They're all jumbled up. Well, you know, so this in their world would have been, you know, proof of Earth curve. Whereas when you actually see from shore to shore, basically into the actual harbour, they say that what you're seeing here is being loomed up. This is a loomed up image, you know, so it's being lifted up behind Earth curve for you to see this. And quite honestly, I don't believe that for a minute. I think there's no evidence for anything being loomed up from behind something else. There's no proof of that. It's one of the things that I kept on asking for years and years and years. Please show me proof of looming. Please demonstrate it. Go out and make something loom up from behind something else, please. Could they do it? No. And yet we could, as flat earthers, demonstrate that this inferior mirage was actually just atmospheric. It was atmospheric blockage. You know, we could demonstrate that. So I've got other images I can show you if you like that can essentially back that up, unless you've got something you want to present.
You know, I realized just now how much do you have and how much do I have to ask you. So maybe we can do this also. What? My Discord just crashed. Oh.
There we go. We lost you for a second there.
Yeah, my Discord crashed, you know.
Ah, right, okay. Well, it should just be a temporary glitch then.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, I mean, I'm happy to talk about other things then if you wish to do that. You know, if there's other things you would like to discuss. How about the Beaufort wind scale? Does anybody know about that?
Go on, present it. Please.
Okay. Well, here we go. So this is the Beaufort wind scale, and all this is. Okay, so let me scroll in a bit so that you can see all of this. All right, so let's go up. So okay, so here we go. This is the Beaufort wind scale. So this is saying that when it's windy, the wind can create some kind of waves. So if the wind is blowing across a ocean or a deep lake, it would have to be a deep lake rather than just a thin lake, but it would have to be some kind of substantial lake, then you are going to get waves that are driven by the wind. The same with oceans, seas, whichever you choose to name them. And it's all calculated by the speed of the wind and what classification it's given, and it will give you different kinds of things like this. So if you had in knots, this is speed in knots, 1 to 3 knots, and the classification would be called light air. What you would get is you would get scaly ripples on the top of the water with no foaming, so it wouldn't have any foam on the top, right? This is on the water. So let's go down a little bit. Let's go down to number 4, and let's say the wind speed in knots between 11 and 16 knots, right? Okay, so around about what, 17, 18 miles an hour, something like that, I think. Somebody might have to confirm that for me. It would be a moderate breeze. But this moderate breeze, as the wind whips across the top of the water, would create between 1 foot and 4 foot waves. And you would get numerous whitecaps. So when you look out across the water and you see little bits of whitecaps on the top of the waves, you know that you're talking about at least a moderate breeze, and those waves are going to be anywhere from 1 foot to 4 foot in height. And further down again, you know, if you went down to number 6, and the wind in knots 22 to 27, I think that's about 30 miles an hour. If somebody could just check that for me, that would be really cool. Then that's a strong breeze, but the wave height would be incredibly high. Then you're talking between 8 and 13 feet. Between 8 and 13 feet. That's 2.4 meters to 4 meters to 4 meters in height. No, these, you know, this is just at 30 miles an hour, 30 mile an hour winds, or 45 kilometer an hour winds, 45 kilometer an hour winds, and you're talking around about 4 foot high waves. So suddenly you've now got big waves that are coming across this flat water. So if you've got a flat ocean, you know, water finds its own level, but the wind is going to create waves across that water. And those waves can be measured in height. And obviously, let's suppose you are a 5 foot or 6 foot high person, and you're trying to film across a bay somewhere, and you're in a strong breeze. Well, you're going to have waves that are obstructing your view to quite a lot of the distant shoreline, because you've got quite high waves that you need to take into account of. So you know, the Beaufort wind scale is just a useful tool to account for what is going on with the actual water, the movement of the water. Now, this is not shoaling or anything like that. This is just the wind. This is just the wind. This is just one formula to take into account when you're actually trying to analyze the photography that you might go out and film. So if you've gone out and filmed on a particular day and it was kind of breezy, and it wasn't calm, it was kind of breezy, and you're wondering why that you couldn't see the bottom of a distant lighthouse, let's say, or a distant shoreline, then one of the reasons could be is the fact that you've got quite high waves blocking your vision to the distant shoreline. So very useful, and then, as I say, the name of it is the Beaufort wind scale. So if anybody wishes to try and download that, by all means, you know. And once you obviously get up to violent storms and things like that, you get between 30 and 45 foot high waves. So that's like between 9 and 13, 9 and 14 meters high waves in storms. You know, so these storms can become very big, very, very quickly.
Wow. This was really not funny because I muted myself in OBS, you know. And I was coming maybe just a little bit from desktop audio.
You probably only lost a minute or so I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, it was nice because you were talking, so I can maybe put some my questions above your explanations. Wow, really sorry. Well, you know, this is not I don't have a lot of practice here, unfortunately. I will not. This is also something yours.
Oh yeah. I'd have to find the other image on this as well, but one thing we do see is that you would need the other image to compare this with, actually. I don't know if you took a screenshot of the other image that I did. If not, no worries, but what it demonstrates is this is a fixed camera on Blackpool Promenade. So if you look up CCAMs, Blackpool CCAM, you'll find a website. It's the top website that shows you this exact image live, so you can watch it, and you can pick up different days. You can go and look at different days and see what the weather was doing on that particular day. And because it's the same focal length, the same camera, the same position, the same height, and you've got fixed objects, you're able to work things out and see what's going on. And I've put these lines in different lines with different to different buildings and things. And on different days, you see compression. You see compression of the top of the image on the right that says 35 meters high. You actually see that gets closer in height to the big wheel that's in the center left. So there's a big wheel there, and you actually see that it gets closer and stretched and closer and stretched. Well, that isn't that just doesn't happen. And all these little lines that I've got in throughout the image, they all seem to get closer and stretched and things like this. And this is just a function of the atmosphere, because that's the only variable in these shots, when you compare them. So, you can't get better than having a fixed camera on a fixed building looking at the same direction. You can't get better than that.
Yeah, I agree, because perspective is always the same.
Yep.
And
I'll have to look up that image and see if I can find it, because I do have a comparison side by side, which is a bit better than that.
Well, this was really nice because there is a real time possibility to check it, and everybody could check it and should check it just to confirm what they think, or that is not doing or is doing, or what is happening in the real world. And this is a good example. Yes, I believe there are many cameras if you care to look placed not in this position but in similar positions where you can have nice perspective at work, and you can compare them. How can you see in different weather conditions over the same distance?
Yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to have a quick look now, see if I can find that, but I might need more work on that. But one thing I could bring up actually is, oh, you've lost all your viewers. All your viewers have gone.
Yeah, because they didn't hear me, I believe.
All right, okay. So, yeah, so if I share my screen for just a second, is that all right? So, just to show you what that is. So, I've just typed in CCAM Blackpool there.
Yeah.
Just CCAM Blackpool. And the first image that, well, the first one that comes up is skylinewebcams.com. So you just click that. And this shows you what it looks like now at Blackpool Promenade. But you've got an option where you can do a video time lapse of 24 hours. So you can press play on it, and then I'll put big screen on, and you'll see that it's just doing a time lapse. So we'll just wait till it starts. There we go. So there you go. So it does a time lapse of what it looked like on this particular day. So you've got so you can compare these images with images on a different day. You know? You can see the tide coming in. You can see the tide going back out.
Yeah.
You can see, I don't know, you can see all kinds of things. But one thing that's interesting, like I've said, is that sometimes, you know, if I pause that there, the height where my cursor is there, if the wheel, this is a wheel that people can sit on and it goes around. So that height there, you could take a screenshot of it, put a line across, and then you could take, let's say, a screenshot of this tower, this lamp post here, and you could put a line there. So you could take that on one day, and then you come back another day, and you could overlay the two, and they would be in different positions. You know, they would be different positions. You know, that might be slightly higher, that might be slightly lower. You know, they'd be compressed and stretched just through atmospherics.
Yeah. Really nice.
But yeah, anyone can do this in different locations. I'm sure they've got them all over. You know, I don't think it's just in Blackpool. They've got them all over the world.
Well, to be honest, the time lapse options, this is the first time I see it.
All right, okay.
Yeah. This is the first time I see.
Well, I'm sure there's. Let's get off of that. Let's pause that. So if I go to live cams in live cams in, where should we go? Kenya. Live cams in Kenya. There's a Kenya National Park. And that's live now in Kenya.
Oh.
Oh, look at that. There's a little cat there.
Yeah.
There's something by the watering hole there. Looks like a cat.
Maybe it's a big cat.
I don't know. But yeah, so you can get that. And then I think you can do time lapses on these as well. Maybe not on this one, but I'm sure there's other ones that you can do. Right.
Wow,
live
beautiful.
cams. Yeah. Republic of Singapore. What about that? Oh, here we go. View of the port area. There we go. So you got a time lapse of video time lapse of Singapore live.
Singapore, yeah.
So you could do that, and then go into large screen, and you'll see the time lapse. There you go. This is in Singapore, and it shows you what it looks like over 24 hours and how things change. Look at all the boats. Look how many boats are there.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is really good, and you can see that obviously the building down here. You'll be able to see them, you know, what they're doing there. And
poor workers, they cannot hide. They are not working, you know, like resting and so on.
Right. Anyway, so anyway, I just thought I'd show you that because I found it interesting.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you. Very nice.
Right. So, what else have you got for me? Anything?
Yep. For sure.
You got more, right? Okay.
Let me. Yeah, sure. This is mythic. Now I will show you your legendary. I cannot close it. If I close it, I cannot present it. So. This is your legendary.
This is my legendary. Oh yes, yeah. I might have a better image to put. You've got your screenshot isn't very good on that.
Well,
let me see.
It's just a screenshot.
Right, I see. Because I've probably got a better one than that. Let's have a look.
Well, I bet you got better than me. Yeah, I'm really sure.
Floaty Land, I called it. So let me open it up. There we go. I'll share my screen if you don't mind.
Right now? Right now.
Yeah, that's a better image.
Yeah, much better.
So again, this was the same location for this inferior mirage, and same observation height, same everything. You know, same tide height, everything. There was nothing changed. This was actually taken from a video of both. So I took a video on this day with this image at the top and a video from here. And in both images, I, from the exact same spot, withdraw the camera, zoom back out on the camera, show you where the tide was, show you my exact position. And it was off the railing, so it can't get any better than that. It was the exact same spot on both, the exact same height, the exact same weather conditions. Except for on one day, the top image, you can't see anything underneath this fold line here that runs through the middle.
Yeah.
Whereas the underneath image, see, there's the tower. That's the tower there.
Yep.
On the top image. And there's a clear image of the tower underneath. And in fact, you can actually see a truck. Here's a truck.
Yeah.
Flatbed truck, you know, down here on the beach. There's a flatbed truck.
Yeah, it's not 18-wheeler or something.
Yeah. And there's a house over here, a little sort of like shed hut thing down here.
Yep.
And yeah, all of this land, you know, all of this land over here that you would normally see on a clear day, all of this on this particular image at the top, it was all missing. It was invisible. You weren't able to see it because clearly, you know, it was hidden behind this atmospheric blockage. But once you remove the inferior mirage on a clearer day, you're able to see shore to shore. And funnily enough, again, Earth Curve Calculator would say that where this fold line is here through the image is where Earth Curve should be. So I think they definitely mistook what is missing in inferior mirages for a calculation to work out the circumference of the Earth. That's what I think they did. And I think research with modern day cameras and, you know, the ability to share this information over the internet and discuss it with other people has been able to unwrap that and say, hey, what you originally thought was Earth curve to give you a radius of this sphere isn't the case, because, you know, with modern technology, we're able to see all of this and understand that this here, you know, this inferior mirage, you know, is not Earth curve. Because let's not forget, I mean, back in the day when you had people out there saying that the Earth was a globe, people like me were busy working on the land and busy being farmers and working 16 hours a day to try and survive. But as we have improved our technology and standards of life, we now have more time to put into this kind of research. So if you went back 100 years, would I have been able to sit at a PC at night time and look into this and explore it and investigate it? Well, the simple answer is no, I wouldn't have been able to. So, you know, that's where we're at. You know, times have changed, and the globe hasn't changed. The globe is still adamant that they're correct. They are still clinging on to this idea that we live on a sphere, and they're still trying to say that this top image here is proof of curvature, when it's not.
And what they say then? There is the image of the bottom. It's just looming.
This looming, yes, it's all being loomed up behind Earth curvature. So, yeah.
Oh,
this beautiful shore-to-shore image of a house and truck and everything that we're seeing all the way down here, all this, it's all being loomed up behind Earth curve so we can see it. And the top image where we can't see anything, yeah, that's Earth curve. So again, make your mind up. What do you believe? You know.
Wow.
Again, if you want this image, I'll send it to you. It's no problem.
Yeah, please, because this is, you know, you have really nice quality. I have screenshot, and you know, sometimes even the browser doesn't render very well, so I have what I have.
No worries, I'll send it to you.
Thank
Anything else for me?
Yeah, the last one?
Yes.
Okay. The last one is this. I close it again. I forgot, if I minimize the window, then I cannot share.
No, this wasn't my image actually, but I can help explain it.
It wasn't yours?
No, this wasn't mine. I didn't take the original image. Oh, hang on, wait a minute. Yes, I did. Yeah, I did take this one. Sorry, my mistake. Oh, hang on, wait. No, I didn't.
So no. You are like a rumpus. Yes, I did. No, I didn't.
No, the original image, of this, the photograph behind everything, was taken by somebody else, and then I did all the investigations on the turbines and the distances and why we're seeing part of the bottom of the tower missing. There we go.
Okay. Then this is your let's say your investigation of the image. Somebody posted or send you, or?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So obviously we know that water, you have something called fluid dynamics, and we know that if you're watching a river, if you're watching water run down a river and you throw a pebble into the river, you'll watch that as the river washes over it, it will create a very slight hump above the pebble, right? So you'll be able to tell, you know, where the pebble is, basically, because you'll be able to see that little slight rise as the water rushes over it. Well, the oceans are no different. The oceans are absolutely no different. Fluid dynamics is exactly the same there. And we all know that the water is moving. That's why we have tides. You know, water moves, and it moves quite a lot. And you can look up things like shoaling. And there's a trench that runs right through this line of sight between the tower and ourselves. And that trench is essentially the area where you're going to get this shoaling effect. Now, you don't need a lot of shoaling to create blockage, because all you have to do is change the height of the water in one location by creating a trench or putting a ginormous boulder in the way, let's say. It doesn't really matter, but some kind of slope normally, and you'll get a shoaling effect. And this is exactly the same. So all he was filming here was across something that was shoaling.
Exactly. The closer to you the obstacle is, the lower can be and block more, right? Well,
yeah, it's more to do with the shelves underneath the ocean. So, you know, if you first step into the water, you start walking into the water, and it starts off at your ankles, then it goes up to your knees, then it goes up to your waist. And in some locations, you could walk a good way out with it just staying at your waist.
Yep.
But then you take one more step, and then suddenly it's no longer at your waist. It's, you know, you're actually swimming, because it's really dropped. It's dropped right off. There's a big shelf there. It's just dropped right off.
Yep.
So in those locations where you get these shelves and you get these very steep slopes, this is where you're going to get the shoaling effect, because you've got water pushing in and receding when the tides are going out. But when it's pushing in or receding, you've got water that's trying to be pushed into a very small area. And what happens is it has nowhere to go. It can't go left or right, although some of it does, but most of it gets pushed up. Most of it gets lifted up. And that's why you get this shoaling effect. That's why whenever you go out and take photographs and stuff, it's probably best to take it between tides, you know, so when it's at dead low tide or dead high tide, because in those conditions you don't have this push or pull that are working against each other, fighting each other. You know, the water's trying to go out as the water's trying to come in. You know, the mixing and pushing up and humping up. It's what happens.
Well, then this is the only time they can use bulge, right?
Yes. So, but they removed that from the Earth curve calculator when I challenged Mick West over it.
Ah, well done.
Yeah. So he removed bulge from the Earth curve calculator.
It was changed quite a few times. I think 3 times in last 2 years, right?
Yep. And he also challenged me to go to the top of Blackpool Tower and take some images, which I did, and then put the video out and laughed in his face when it didn't show curvature.
Very nice one. He said that you should be able to detect the curvature, right?
Yes, he said that if you went up with a bog standard iPhone to the top of Blackpool Tower and took an image of the horizon, you will be able to detect Earth curvature. So I did just that, and I also did it with a P900 as well as the iPhone, and still wasn't able to detect any kind of Earth curvature.
So long for the curvature.
Right, I've got about 5 more minutes, bud. If there's anything else you want to ask me.
Well, then we can have a bit of friendly chit chat. Like, what's your favorite beer?
Favorite beer? Oh, Corona.
Really?
Yeah, actually.
Wow. Oh my god. Did you find some time to explore the drone, do something with it? I see some footage, but it was always bad weather. Did you find some good weather and something to do, like a project or observation, you know, something specific?
When's this, sorry? What, recently you mean?
Yeah, with the drone. Did you...
Drone? What's that?
Oh, drone.
Oh, drone! Sorry, drone.
Yeah.
I thought you said I couldn't understand what you meant. No, I've tried on one occasion to try, and well, actually twice. But the first time was just a complete washout. The second time, we almost got it completed, but then it pissed down again. So both times, you know, weren't able to do what I intended to do, which was to strap the lasers to the underside of the drone and, you know, do some elevation changes with these laser lights shining out from the bottom of the drone that was able to be filmed some 16 miles away, you know, because that was the plan, that somebody would look at them from side on and see what was happening with this laser light, see if it was actually curving up or curving down, because normally you only ever see these laser lights from behind, you know, when you're actually holding them yourself. But to see them at a 90-degree angle from the side-on view, I think would be more beneficial for research. So I have tried to do that, but the weather just let us down. But that's something I do want to do this year. There's actually a couple of things I want to do this year. I want to do that, and I want to go to Australia and do the sunsets and the sunrise observations. So they're the two things that I have planned. And then after that, then that's me. I'm done. That's as far as I'm doing any more research on flat Earth. That's me done now. I think I've worn myself out on this. I've put a lot.
You found your proof, right? Why looking more?
Yes, I have found my proof, and there's nothing more to add. I've done, my entire research was all to do with optics. That was it. That was all I was interested in, and it was understanding why we can't see things from the bottom up, which was totally different to why other people were doing the research. They were going out trying to find long distance photography that proves a flat Earth, whereas I was actually, okay, yes, I can still get those images, which were great, but I was also quite happy to want to understand why there are times that we can't see forever, why we sometimes see things disappearing from the bottom up, and to understand that, and to put an argument out against it, because at that point it was just a stalemate. You had flat earthers out there that were saying, hey, we can see this boat at 20 miles away, and then you had globe earthers that were saying, hey, we've seen this boat half hidden by water. So it was totally an impasse. There was nobody in the middle saying, well, yeah, this is the reason why you're seeing that boat half hidden by water, and this is the reason why, that inferior mirage is there. So my body of research was based upon that, to break the deadlock, to break it, to say, look, that it's not just I've got this image, you've got that image, and that's it. It was a case of, well, let's be more scientific about it, and let's try and understand this, and that's what I did. So I've done that, and I'm quite happy with the work I've done up to now. And but 5 years of doing it, it does take a toll on you.
Now I can ask you, how many hours do you think did you spend a week doing your research?
Oh, well, at one point I was doing probably, talking off air as well, with other people.
Yes, everything.
Maybe 80 or 90 hours a week.
Wow.
Yeah, as well as working as well. So I was living on about 3 hours sleep each day.
Wow.
For about a year, that was. For about a year.
Wow.
And then I cut down and went from that to around about 40 hours a week doing research with, observations and other people. And then I moved away again and then did my own show. Took on my own show and started doing that. And it was good. It was the most popular, I think, debate flat Earth show anyway, for whilst I was doing it.
What would you say your best observation or experiment?
I don't know, to be honest, because at the end of the day, there's a million photographs out there that show boats in the distance that you shouldn't be able to see. They should be behind Earth curve or distant buildings. I can't just say, oh, I have an image of a building from 24 miles away, because I do, from just a couple of feet, but would you include that as part of my best thing? Probably not. No, I think just as a whole, the whole research, the package that comes with it, the whole package of research, shoaling, the Beaufort wind scale, the effect of tides and tide heights, the effect of the inferior mirage, the effect of sinking, which is another phenomena that happens, and obviously you've got all the distortions that are going on. Understanding all that was just a much bigger success for me, I think.
Wow. Well, you already told me what you plan to do for the future, so I don't need to ask you that. I suppose I can just thank you for your time and your kindness.
I am doing another show though. I've got another YouTube channel out. You've probably heard of it.
Yeah, I heard you are doing some ghost and something. You can promote yourself here.
I'll show you an image actually of
Okay.
somebody of a ghost that somebody sent me. I've got a few. This is actually on video. This is actually on video. And what do you notice about this figure? You can see his feet,
Yeah.
body, head, but it's see-through. Right? He's see-through, completely see-through. You can see the tracks. See the car tracks through him, through
Yeah.
the person. I've got other images of him over here as well, you know. Exactly the same see-through. And another one over here, see-through. And he's walking, this ghost is walking across this fresh snow. And he doesn't leave any footprints.
Doesn't leave
Right?
them.
Doesn't leave any footprints. And there was this area here, this was a garage, part of at the end of a lane. It was a garage at the end of a lane. That there was a house up here that owned the garage. So this is part of this is a house. This is their land. This is a garage that she rented out to somebody that worked in this garage.
Yeah.
And the gentleman had left. He finished work and he drove home. And behind the garage, it's all enclosed by brambles. You know, as far as the eye can see, nobody could walk through there, and nothing. There was nothing behind there. And every single day for about 5 days, this same figure appeared and walked in the same direction. And every time that they went back to the house, to the garage to check on it, the lock on the garage had been unlocked, right? But nothing had been taken. So the garage had been opened, even though the guy had locked up for the night. And this ghost appeared. It turned out that just a few years ago, somebody died in the quarry that's behind this garage here, this lockup. There was somebody died there, a 19-year-old lad, and he died. Let's see if I can bring you up the other image as well. Might as well. I'll bring you up this second image that I've got to show you.
Yeah. Okay. It's interesting, right?
Yes, it is. It's fascinating. I really enjoy it. Right. Okay. So that's that. That's that.
And it's also a bit controversial because you know it's a ghost, but he cannot can unlock the door, but cannot take anything.
Here's the next one.
Wow.
Here's another image.
He's standing, yeah, like looking at the car.
No, he's walking, but he glides. I've got the video of this. It glides. It kind of walks, but he glides. He doesn't leave any footprints. You know, if you look at the original image, yeah, he's down here. And then the next image, he's up here, and he just glides around and disappears off over there. But he's see-through in this as well. I mean, if you scroll in, can you see that there? You can see all the things through him.
Yep.
He's invisible. Well, not invisible because the camera picked him up. But yeah. How cool is that?
What would you say? It's a bit colder or a bit warmer?
Oh, it's snowing. Snowing, isn't it?
No, I mean the figure itself.
Would I say it's cold? I don't.
Yeah, to show on the camera, he must be on the different. Something must be different, right?
Yeah.
So, my first guess would be if like no matter, but whatever he is composed of is or hotter or colder. In order to camera to pick it up.
I couldn't answer that. But this is just one of the things that we did over the weekend. Over the weekend, we did an incredible amount of interviews with different people. This was just one of them, and there are some stories that have come up that some of the things that I'd never even heard of, like Hat Man. I'd never heard of a Hat Man before, but apparently he's a well-known spirit entity thing that comes after people, and that was a great story. I have a glitch in the Matrix story that's just out of this world about how the lady sensed something was off this night with a friend. She was at home, they were outside and they got this sense that just things didn't seem right, and they got really scared. So they decided to go for a walk with the dog, and as soon as they left the house, things outside had changed. The fence paneling had changed on the neighbour's house. Something else had changed. Lots of different things that you really wouldn't notice unless you walked quite a lot, which she did with the dog. Things had changed, and she just knew things had changed. She got to the end of the road, she saw this blue car that was travelling, she said, at an incredible amount of speed, being chased by another car that was like a police car, but it wasn't a police car. It looked like a police car, but it wasn't. And they just disappeared. They went past them and then just disappeared, these cars. Then another woman was walking a dog towards them, and they felt, oh, finally we've met somebody, because it was deadly silent. And they saw somebody, and this woman was walking towards her with their dog, and they were just about to ask this woman, or just pass them by, like normal. And she disappeared. She just gone. And when she got home, her car key had changed. So she'd bought this car just a couple of weeks before, and she'd been talking to the owner of the car. It was from a garage that she bought it, and the car key was all scuffed and scratched and dirty. And she had a big joke with the guy that was selling her the car about how dilapidated this car key was and what had they done with it, and had they been a real rough person. They had a lot of fun about discussing this car key, how battered it was. Well, when she returned home, she had a brand new car key, brand spanking new. Her old one was gone. It was replaced by a brand new one. The fence panels outside had been replaced. They'd gone from old and fallen apart to brand new. The house next door had this toy in the garden that had just been left there for over a year, and had just gone from a nice plush fresh colour to all green and brown, just being left out in the rain. And when she walked past it on that night, it changed into a brand new one. And then the next day, when everything settled down, they went outside again, and all those changes were still there.
So it was not just illusion.
No, it was still there. And she sent me the images of the car key. She sent me the images of the fence. Her friend has done a recording too of the podcast where she recounts her events of it too, which she backs up her friend on this. It's a total glitch in the matrix there.
Wow. I remember years ago I was looking police car chasing another car, and the other car make a curve, and then was a fence, and there was nothing there. No car, the fence was still standing. The policeman was just, what the,
Well, if anyone wants to look up the channel, which they're more than welcome to do, it's called Almost Unbelievable. I'll say hello in the chat. I'll say hello in the chat. That'll be the best way. People will know who we are.
This is why you have changed your name to Almost Unbelievable.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I was going to ask you also that, and I have also the question about what do you think about where is it? What do you think about spiritual dimensions, energy, life, and we are
extra dimensions? Absolutely. You should listen to some of the stories that we've already got out on the podcast, and listen to some of the tales that people have told us. It's simply it's a fascinating subject, and I love doing flat earth. I've loved it for 5 years, but I've already got to that conclusion now. I know my research is going to stand the test of time, and quite honestly, I just wanted to move on to something different now and let other people expand on what I'd already started. So it seems that's the case. Brandon's now got the show, and he's doing an excellent job over there. There are other channels that are taking the research of the inferior mirage and expanding on it and doing better things than I have done in the past, which is great. And now I can confidently just move on to doing something different and as well as still being a flat earther, obviously, and knowing that, you know, I left it in a better shape than flat Earth was when I first joined. So
yeah, I would say you definitely left your mark. The globe will never be the same again.
no.
And I would agree with you again that there are also a lot of other things still to research. And I mean
absolutely.
a lot of things, really a lot of things still to be researched. So well done.
If
I wish you all the best, and
thank you very much.
a lot of fun with new discoveries. And
well, if I'd have stayed around to research everything that I wanted to do, I'd still be doing this when I was 75. And quite honestly, I don't think I could have done it. To be honest, not just on the one subject. It was just a very long slog, because I didn't divert away from anything other than optics research. And you imagine trying to understand that one subject for 5 years. It was a big drain, you know. So yeah, there are obviously other things that I would love to have finalized, but there's so many people involved in Flat Earth now that I'm sure that they can do this. You know, they don't need me to do it anymore. You know, they can do it now.
Yeah, but they can always come for the suggestion, for the some tips, you know, or advice or knowledge you have gathered. You know, I see you are always the same, Ranty. Like I said at the beginning, always helping people. Doesn't even understand how much do you help a Flat Earth community. And yeah, you are always Ranty.
Well, thank you very much. Right, okay, well, I have to go now, Yossi, but that's been an excellent show. I do appreciate you inviting me on. And I want to say thank you to everybody that stayed around to the end and listened to all the things that I had to rabbit on about and present. So if you've taken anything away from this, that's been a success as far as I'm concerned. Thank you for having me, Yossi.
Thank you, mate. Have a nice night and see you around, right?
Yep, see you around. Take care.
Hvala svima na učestvovanju. Thank you, hvala. Mwah.
I wouldn't call anything a surprise, really. Just excuses.
Everyone agreed that the Earth was flat. Flat. Everyone agreed that the Earth was flat. 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 Everyone agreed that the Earth was flat.
Have a great day.